Hi everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly Ann Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in McKinney, Texas, and this is card 1 for our April cards. And this card I am calling You Make a Difference. We will be using this online stamp set. We're going to use the You Make a Difference here. And let me pull that out of here and put it on a block. And we'll get started here. This is going to be a fun little card. Pretty much the designer series paper is going to be the star here. So we're using this stamp set out of Thankful Garden, online exclusive, and then we're going to be using these Everyday Arches, which are also an online exclusive. And this is the card we're going to make. We did use one other die set in here, and I didn't put it down, but I'm going to grab it real quick. It is Textured Notes. Okay, and I will make sure I have that in the tutorial for you. But the Textured Notes, this is how we got this beautiful border on our card here. And then the inside looks like this. It's very simple. I think it's elegant in its simplicity. And then for the envelope, we didn't do anything to the front, but we did put a beautiful piece of designer series paper on the back side of this so that it's a beautiful envelope too. So let me put this aside and let me get what your packet will look like. So you should have an envelope. You should have a piece of paper, the designer series paper that is going to get glued to the back of your envelope, and we're going to do that pretty much first thing, but let's still go through our pieces, parts, and bits. You should have a piece of basic white that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You should have 2 pieces of pretty peacock that are let's see, which one is this? This looks like it is, it is the largest one in the die here. So at least, yep, that's the largest die. So it's the largest one in the die set, and they both have been die cut out. So these are our mats and layers. This is for our inside, and this piece, just to let you know, is 5 by 3 3/4. We'll have a piece of designer series paper, another piece of designer series paper, and your sentiment. We're going to have to be really good at stamping to get this on straight. It's going to be a one-stop shop. But if you've got the dies, you can certainly do another one. And this die is in this set with the Textured Notes. It's the top one up here. So let's get to making our card. It's pretty quick and pretty simple. We're going to leave our stamping for last, but the first thing we're going to do is we are going to glue on our piece of designer series paper onto our envelope, and that's just so it can dry a little bit. So let me bring out some green glue, otherwise known as Tombow Multi-Purpose. As you can see, I just kind of goop it up a little bit. And this piece of paper is 2.5, I think it's 2.5. It is 2.5. It is 2.5 by 6 inches. And so it should just fit across the back with a little bit hanging off on either side. Kind of flatten that down, and then I flip it over and bring in a bone folder. And I just press that glue so it goes out. It'll flatten out. In fact, it came out of the side there, and that does happen every so often. And now we're just going to let that sit and dry off the camera for a moment. And I have glue on my hand. Quick way to get that off is either rub everything together or till it balls off your hands, or use some hand sanitizer. So now we'll go and put this part together. And here I'm going to use my seal. So I'm going to, put this on here. Doing my little barn door Z I like the barn doorsy. And why is that so big? I don't know why this piece is so big, but you know, it should be smaller than it is, and I don't know why it's as big as it is. That's way too big. I'm going to cut it down by 1/4 of an inch. So even though I've already put adhesive on here, this is how I fix it. I think the length is a little bit too long too, so we'll just fix it. If it doesn't fit, just cut it back. Okay, and I use my cutter upside down. I do have adhesive on here, so I'm going to have it face up, and I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch off of it. So I'm going to make it 3 1/2, and and that's just a little schnibble for someplace else. And then this currently is 5, and we're just going to make it 4 3/4. And I'm going to change that and make sure my measurements are the same. Now, if yours is bigger, I'm going to ask you to cut it down by 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And because I've been messing with it, I'm just going to come back in here with a little bit more adhesive that hasn't got my fingerprints on it all the way. And now we're going to just put this on the inside here. That fits much better. There we go. There we go. And then this is just going to get some adhesive put down the center. You can use liquid glue or just your tape, and that's fine. And I'm just going to stagger that up a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch. Either way, this will go on the inside of my card. This gets really fast. I think it's a very fast card if you don't make a mistake. But if you do make a mistake, it doesn't take very long to fix that either. So I like that part. Okay, and I'm just going to center that as best I can. Needs to go up just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That's my inside. And then for my outside, I'm just going to put some adhesive on this. I did an eye on this one versus something else. So I'm just going to try and center it between here. The only thing I will tell you is if you're using a directional designer series paper like this, make sure your flowers are going the right way or whatever direction. It could go the other way too. It's just depending upon your look. I like my flowers to come out of the ground. But if I'm looking out a window and they're draping down, that's also pretty too. Okay, this is just going to go on top here. And that is just a little. I tell you, I'm just putting things in the wrong spots, but that's okay. If you can see me fix it, then you know you can do it too. And it also shows that this is just me being very human. So now comes the fun part. We're going to bring in our Poppy Parade, and we're going to stamp our little sentiment. See how well we do with this without me getting this in my hair. We're getting it in the middle of, we need to make sure it's kind of in the middle. I'm going to commit to this. That looks pretty good. Hey, we didn't do too bad. Not too shabby. I think we'll take that one. And then we're just going to use some dimensionals to pop it up. And I'm going to use some of these little ones. And let me grab my Take Your Pick tool, if I can pull it out of the, oh, it's laying down. It likes to lay down on me sometimes. And there we go. So we'll take our Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to be generous with my dimensionals because I usually am. I think you can fit the regular size ones in here, but I'm just using up these little guys. There's no other embellishments on here. You certainly could add some. I didn't. I was trying to keep things pretty much stamps, ink, and paper, or as they call it, SIP, without too much embellishment. Make it easy to mail. Sometimes we just need some things like this that are, you know, you make a difference. That's pretty straight. And that is that. Oh, wait, we have to finish this. So we've glued that on. It's sat for a few minutes. So let me just cut around. And then we will have our finished little envelope. I don't know, this is an online exclusive paper that came with the mixed floral paper is what it is. It's called Mixed Media Florals, and very pretty paper, and I'm letting the paper do the work as opposed to me doing a lot of work and stamping. When you first start out, sometimes you just need some simple stamps. You don't even need colored ink. Black ink would have been just fine. And you're able to make a really cute card without too many materials. Thank you so much. I hope you liked this one. If you did, please give it a like. And if you could, share. That would be wonderful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please be sure you do. That way, and click that little bell. It'll notify you whenever I put up new videos. I do put up videos once a month for card classes. I'm going to start doing, for the May class, I'm going to, shortly after this video drops, will be an invitation for you to order the kits if you would like to make cards with me in May. And I'll do a whole video on that for you. But this is this card. I think it's fun. I think it's simple. I hope you enjoy it. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.